Welcome back to the Cannabis Podcast. Today we're taking a look at more news out of Colombia, where they have approved the sale of medical cannabis flower for small growers getting first dibs. Now that's a headline that reads really, really well, but let's get into the details. Before we do, please like, share, and subscribe. Appreciate you being here. Thanks a lot. Colombia just took another bold step in its public health playbook by approving the commercialization of cannabis flower for medical use by prescription in pharmacies, drugstores, and veterinary establishments. Until now, regulations only allowed the export of dried flowers or the domestic sale of derivatives such as oils, extracts, or capsules. From now on, the flower itself is also considered a, quote, finished product, unquote, and can be dispensed with proper medical and sanitary authorization. What about recreational? We'll get into that. It's a historic shift, but only for medical use. Since 2021, Colombia has been exporting medical cannabis flower, but selling it within the country's borders was still off limits. What changes now is that in Colombia, the flower can finally be considered a finished product and therefore sold to those with a medical prescription. The Ministry of Health emphasized that the measure seeks to facilitate better quality control and guarantee patients access to safe and reliable treatments. The decree also linked to Colombia's new national drug policy, which aims to create regulatory frameworks that are comprehensive, fair, and based on scientific evidence, mostly the medical benefits of cannabis. Additionally, it includes veterinary applications, allowing the production and dispensing of cannabis-based preparations for animals, which we all care about, and that's a booming industry because people care about their pets, so they spend a lot of money on them. Who's overseeing what? The new regulation establishes a clear division of responsibilities. The National Narcotics Fund will handle manufacturing license and monitor cannabis, its derivatives, and finished products subject control. The Ministry of Justice will supervise licenses, regulated seeds, grain, and cultivation of both psychoactive and non-psychoactive plants. Both entities will coordinate with the health oversight and agriculture oversight to ensure traceability and prevent deviation into the illicit markets. It seems like the agriculture ministry instead of justice should supervise the seeds, grain, and cultivation. That's just very interesting. It's kind of like in America where the DEA is in control of cannabis, not agriculture when it's agriculture. But I don't want to get into the weeds. No pun intended. Let's keep going. Small growers get first dibs. One of the most talked about moves gives priority to micro, small, and medium-sized cultivators for the next 2 years. They alone will be allowed to supply the domestic market. Now, that's a huge caveat. For the next 2 years, they alone will be allowed to supply the domestic market. The Ministry of Justice also has 5 months to design a simplified licensing system that eases their integration into the legal market. According to their government, the transitional measure is reasonable and proportionate as it strengthens the national pharmaceutical and agro-industrial sectors while guaranteeing supply and fair participation of local producers. However, sociologists and activists warn they should be stricter and clearer in their positive discrimination toward those who have been victims of illegal markets. More research and control of quality are needed. The decree extends non-commercial research licenses to 24 months, giving universities and labs more time to study the plant's therapeutic uses. Right, because you could totally get it all done in 24 months. Besides, it also sets a new category for low THC products, taking them off the controlled substances list and paving the way for more science-backed, non-psychoactive formulas. Finally, the decree lays out rules for magistral preparations for both human and veterinary use that must be made in licensed facilities by qualified pharmacists using Colombian-grown ingredients only, no imports allowed. This is a fascinating development out of Colombia, which has a lot of things going on in the news right now with the United States and just kind of all around the world. So it's a fascinating development that Colombia, during all of this, approved the sale of medical cannabis flowers and changed their medical program. Just like Ukraine, during the middle of a war right now, a year or two ago, legalized medical cannabis. So you have all these countries, Lebanon, Colombia, Ukraine, legalizing cannabis during economic turmoil, realizing that it hits all of the benefits that you need in the time. Money injected into your system, a new industry, health benefits, and an easing of laws and restrictions that can then go forward. So it seems like we're in the middle of a huge transition in the world, and it feels like it. Everybody would probably agree. Let me know where you're located and kind of what the cannabis laws are there. But it seems like all over the world, they're focusing on medicinal pharmaceutical exports. And that quote that they say in this article is a very, very good one. National pharmaceutical and agro-industrial sectors. That is a huge, huge industry all over the world. And like in Lebanon, all of this medicinal cannabis is going to be sold to pharmaceuticals companies, which are buying up the crop for what? What are these pharmaceutical companies needing all this cannabis for? Where's it going? That's my question is, okay, it's great. We have all these new supply chains coming online. For what? Who's going to consume this stuff? Well, the United States is the largest consumer market in the world. So we will see what happens in the future. But good development out of Colombia for small growers getting first dibs for 2 years, which, how long do you really want to give them? I don't have much knowledge about the Colombian market, but I do know at least giving small farmers a heads up or a head start is good, as long as you're paying them not low wages and then kind of screwing them that way. But thanks for being here. Please like, share, and subscribe if you found a benefit in this information. And until next time, stay blessed and don't forget to tip your bud tenders.